Good morning, folks, and welcome to Swing Trading Today. This is Bob Desmond, and it is May the 8th, 5:22 in the a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's get to the rundown of what we'll be talking about today. We're going to be segueing into the pre-market activity. Then we'll talk about members' stock chart requests, which is where we review the symbols that our members submit for me to review on video. Before we go to the charts, let's first talk about our sponsor, which is TrendSpider. TrendSpider is the next generation in automated technical analysis. It's a must-have for the average investor trading up against the professional investor. It is time efficient. I use it constantly, and you'll see me use it later on today when we go over members' stock chart requests. There's a 7-day free trial offer. Check out the coupon code CT25Z. You can link to it below in the video description area on YouTube or above on the blog. Let's get to the pre-market activity. First up, in the S&P 500, we are melting down here a little bit this morning. We are down basically flat, but we were higher. Now, what we're looking for is a break to a new daily low, and we just got it. The prior low on this 4-hour bar was at 2,888. At current, we are about a point below that level. So let's watch and see whether or not we close below this support level here, because if we do, that takes us down to 2,800, and then after that, obviously right below here at the lows of yesterday, which was at 2862.07. So be very, very careful, folks. We spoke yesterday about a possible break below this lower band of support, and obviously we got that. So this is a market under pressure. Be very, very careful. Wait for historical support levels to get hit before you go buying the dip. Members, I spoke about this market and our strategy last night on Market Wrap. It is posted in the members area if you want to go check it out. You can just see we just broke just now. We haven't closed there, but still a lot of pressure coming in this morning on the S&P. Let's go to the NASDAQ. Okay, the NASDAQ is not faring all that much better. We continue to put in lower highs. And now what we're doing this morning is we are threatening to close down below this lower band of support. Now, it's worth noting, and it's really important, again, these are 4-hour charts, okay? It is at current 5:27 in the a.m. This bar doesn't close until 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, like I always like to say, it doesn't matter where you trade intra-period. In this case, a 4-hour period. What matters is where you close. So we could rally back and close back above the support level. And for all I know, we could be rallying into the open. We don't have much in terms of economic data this morning to salvage this market. There's always headline news or a tweet. So what we'll do is we'll set up a tripwire here. And watch and we'll see if we'll rally up and through this upper band of resistance, which coincides with the 20-period moving average on the NASDAQ. And in fact, I'll go over to TrendSpider and set up an alert there as well. So the NASDAQ, under pressure this morning. We have not taken out yesterday's lows yet. Let's check out the U.S. dollar. Now, the dollar overnight had a rough session. We have bounced back off the lows of the session. We even recaptured a support level. But the dollar, as mentioned with members last night on Market Wrap, is under a bit of pressure, despite the fact that it closed up yesterday. Daily indicators, which I went over in great detail on Market Wrap last night with members, those indicators are under a tremendous amount of pressure. Go take a look at the RSI, the Stokes. Throw up some trend lines. We are weakening, and we're weakening fast on those indicators. Now, price is holding up, and price trumps all. However, we do have the potential for daily forward-looking oscillators, RSI and stochastics, flashing bearish divergences relative to price on the U.S. dollar. So be very, very careful here with trades that you may be short that trade inversely of the U.S. dollar, such as gold. And as you can see here, 4-hour chart, gold is breaking out. We're up about a little over a quarter of a percentage point this morning. The miners had a good day yesterday. We're long of the miners. One of our stock chart requests yesterday was JNUG. We're going to revisit that symbol this morning because it had a very good day yesterday. And we'll talk a bit of strategy for JNUG. So gold looking good this morning. Let's go to silver. We are long of silver. I even entertained adding more yesterday. Held off because we didn't break out to new higher highs and through resistance. We'll be looking to add more here on strength. But as you can see here, we're setting up very nicely. In fact, we have an inverted head and shoulders setup. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Here is our neckline. And we broke out above it. Let's drill down. And here you can see, again, head and shoulders setup, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline. It has been broken. It has been retested. It appears as though silver is going to rally today. But keep in mind, we do have resistance levels above. So there's a lot of overhead supply here. There is time to get involved. So please don't get too aggressive to the long side here. Wait for an apparent close above resistance levels. Then you can begin accumulating a position or adding to a position. Let's move over to member stock chart request. Okay, we're going to use TrendSpider for member stock chart request. We're going to go over Boeing first, weekly chart. I am using the Bollinger Bands, the third standard deviation Bollinger Bands. And you can see that last week we broke down below the 20-period moving average. Now, what I want to do is I want to throw up some weekly support levels to see where we may have a bottom. Click of a button. Now you can see that we sliced right through a support level this week like a hot knife through butter. And there's a very real possibility that we pull back down here to this lower band of support, and let's call it the 325 level. It is rising. It all depends upon how long it takes to get down there. It is a rising lower band of support, so the price target may be a bit higher. So what I could do here is simply create an alert when we touch that lower band of support. We'll keep this live. This is a weekly chart, so we want to give it some time. And now our alert is set. We can focus on other things. So this is where I really like support here on Boeing. That's at or around the 325 level. Let's go to a daily chart. See if we have the potential for a bounce here. Not really. It doesn't appear that way. We do have a bit of support here at the 347 level. Not necessarily the best of support levels. We have another support level here, which is declining at around 345. So as a play, if you wanted to play this for a bounce, all right, my alert's set. So here's my range. I have an alert here at around 345.66. That's subject to change because it's declining. And an alert here, which is rising, of course, subject to change in terms of price at around the 320 level. So it appears as though, given the market action this morning, that Boeing will, in all probability, head lower today. So I would avoid right now. Let's bring up JNUG. Now, we discussed JNUG yesterday. I mentioned that we did have topping action. You saw fear in the market yesterday. And that's what's necessary for the U.S. dollar and for the gold miners and gold, silver, etc. to trade in tandem. And if you take a look at symbols like Yang, which is a short China ETF, we'll throw up the Bollinger Bands here, and you can see that there is certainly fear in the Chinese markets. And we're a little bit overbought here, but that doesn't mean it can't go higher. So the focus is on China. The charts are telling us that. It doesn't appear as though it's going to get better anytime soon. So that does mean that we could have a short-term correlation between the U.S. dollar and gold. Add to that, I mentioned last night with members that I'm a bit bearish on the price action on gold In particular, the forward-looking oscillators, RSI and stochastics. So let's go back to JNUG. Okay, so on a daily basis, we popped higher yesterday. We closed above support, and that's what's important, right? But we still have a lot of overhead supply here, meaning prior buyers looking to get made whole. So I do think that we could rally. These are now daily support levels. I do think that we could rally up to here, $7.72, give or take a few pennies. And then we're going to hit some stiff resistance. Now, what I want to do here, I believe I did this yesterday. We're going to remove all related trend lines in red. And that gives us a clearer picture of where our trend channel is. Here's our upper band. Here's our lower band. And yesterday, I even drew a tripwire. And there you have it. It saves your old drawings here. I can take it on and off. I love that. A tripwire of which we could look to break out of. And that would set the stage for a potential rally up to these resistance levels. Now, what could quite possibly happen here, folks, is a pullback and a retest of the support level. That would be a good risk-reward entry point as long as you keep it small and you keep a stop should we break back down into this trading range. Now, if we rally up and into this resistance level, or even better, these primary upper bands of resistance, which mark the upper band of the declining downtrend channel, well then, you have a real good long trade on your hands. So my closing words on JNUG, and this goes for GLD, it goes for the gold miners across the board and silver. Ideally, you get a break in the US dollar, which just inconveniently remains in an uptrend. We are seeing some weakness on the oscillators. Again, I hate to keep repeating myself, but it's a fact. And that weakness is on a daily basis. Ideally, we get a break in the US dollar. That will influence the size of the position I plan on putting on at these levels. I'm using the NUGT. And JNUG is just as good. So please take into consideration the strength of the US dollar and its performance relative to the size of your position in these gold mining plays. Also, remember, when you're position sizing in a commodity like this, or a sector influenced by the price of a commodity and the fluctuations in currency, you're only one tweet away from riches or a rough night with a bottle of scotch. So let's take into consideration other factors other than the charts. Right now, it's looking promising. We remain in a downtrend on the gold mining names. That's a fact, okay? So short-term promising, longer term, we have some challenges, and we want to see a break in the US dollar. I hate to keep pounding the table on this. I know I sound like a broken record, but it matters, folks. I don't want to see anybody losing money. All right, folks, that's it for today. I'm running long. If you got any value out of this video, please subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment below. I'll get back to you. Remember, take advantage of the 7-day free trial offer over at TrendSpider. Click that link below. Use coupon code CT25Z. Everybody have a profitable trading day and be well.